Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. November 8th is fast approaching, and New Yorkers are already turning out to the polls. Big Fox's Maggie Hall and the Steuben County Election Board commissioners have everything you need to know for this election.
Well, folks, it is the 1st of November, which means that Election Day is officially only 1 week away. Today, I was joined by the Steuben County Election Board commissioners to talk about everything you need to know on your way to the polls.
Hi, I'm Vicki Olin. I am the Steuben County Republican Commissioner.
And I'm Colleen Horiski, the Democrat Commissioner.
With early voting in full swing, these ladies have been booked and busy.
Saturday and Sunday was a huge success, and cumulative from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we had about 1,300 voters come out and vote at our early voting, and it's not area sensitive. It's throughout the whole county. And today we've already have over 306 voters that come through.
What can you expect when you walk into your polling place next Tuesday?
So when a voter goes to their regular election day poll site on November 8th, they really don't need to bring anything with them. When they go to the poll site, the inspectors will ask them for their date of birth, look them up, and then ask them for their name and ask them to verify their address. And if everything matches, they'll have them sign the electronic poll book and they'll verify their signature and they'll get their ballot and be able to vote.
There are several government positions that people are voting for.
Well, we have the governor's race, which is a big popular one, the comptroller, the attorney general, the United States senator, the judge. We have the 7th judicial, along with the representative in Congress, as well as member of assembly.
To find out the details of your voting information, visit SteubenCountyNewYork.gov. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Bath.
After a fire at the Big Flats Applebee's, the owners are hoping to reopen. Officials report that the fire that started on October 23rd was a grease fire. The emergency system in the restaurant's kitchen engaged but didn't fully put out the flames. Reportedly, the owners are hoping to reopen next week or the week after, depending on how long the repairs take. Governor Kathy Hochul signs a new bill that may help save the lives of college students. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg tells us about this new legislation.
A new law signed by Governor Kathy Hochul this week will require all New York public colleges to have overdose prevention medicine in housing facilities. The medicine, known as Narcan, often comes in the form of a nasal spray that can be quickly administered. As a part of the bill, college employees such as resident assistants will be trained in how to effectively administer the Narcan spray. Governor Hochul said signing this bill will lead to faster response times and help prevent needless tragedies. Narcan is a type of naloxone. When the Narcan is administered to someone experiencing an overdose, the medicine can block the effects of the opioid and restore breathing to the victim. Naloxone has no effect on someone who does not have opioids in their system. This makes it safe to administer if you think someone may be overdosing, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Overdose cases are continuing to rise across the state and country. Overdoses have taken over as the leading cause of death for Americans under 50 years old. In 2021, over 60,000 people lost their lives to overdoses. In 2019, New York alone saw nearly 3,000 overdose-related deaths. The signing of this law came on the last day of Red Ribbon Week. Red Ribbon Week is the largest drug abuse prevention campaign in the United States. Red Ribbon Week is held annually during the last week of October. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Corning.
The city of Elmira announcing leaf pickup will begin November 14th. The city asks that you rake your leaves to between the sidewalks and curbs, or as close to the curb as possible. Crews will pick up leaves on every street at least twice. Bagged leaves will no longer be accepted by the city, according to this announcement. The man accused of attacking House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer is now facing federal and state charges, as a new criminal complaint gives the most detailed account yet of the assault. Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Mr. DePape specifically targeted the Pelosi home to confront Speaker Pelosi.
San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins shared chilling new details in the attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. Investigators say 42-year-old David DePape, carrying zip ties, rope, and tape, broke into the couple's home on Friday and woke Paul Pelosi up in the bedroom. According to a criminal complaint, DePape stated that he was going to hold Nancy hostage and talk to her. If Nancy were to tell DePape the truth, he would let her go. And if she lied, he was going to break her kneecaps. In a new statement, the speaker says her husband is making steady progress on what will be a long recovery process after DePape allegedly hit him in the head with a hammer. Jenkins called the assault politically motivated.
It is incumbent upon us all to watch the words that we say and to turn down the volume of our political rhetoric.
But at a campaign event Monday, Republican nominee for Arizona Governor Carrie Lake appeared to mock the Pelosis.
Nancy Pelosi, well, she's got protection when she's in D.C. Apparently her house doesn't have a lot of protection.
The moment drawing backlash as some lawmakers call for more action to tamp down violent speech and conspiracy theories.
What I'd like to see is just some semblance of humanity.
DePape is facing 13 years to life in prison on the state charges. He's also facing 2 federal charges. In Washington, Matt Rivera, Fox News.
Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts temporarily blocks the IRS from turning over Donald Trump's tax records to a congressional committee. The delay gives the Supreme Court time to weigh the legal issues in the emergency appeal that the former president filed Monday. The decision follows a lower court ruling mandating he turn over his tax records to the House Ways and Means Committee. Without the court's intervention, the House Ways and Means Committee could have obtained 6 years of Trump's tax returns as early as Thursday. The former president has long avoided releasing his tax returns, which would shed light on his true wealth and the activities of his company, the Trump Organization. He's the first president in 40 years not to release his records. A rapper is dead after a shooting in Houston last night, and the violence stretched across the country, leaving more than 20 people injured. Mike Tobin has more.
Several shootings casting a shadow over Halloween celebrations overnight. In Houston, at least one person was killed outside of a bowling alley and pool hall early Tuesday. Police confirmed rappers Takeoff and Quavo from the rap group Migos attended the private party. Takeoff was found dead at the scene. Authorities now working to determine a motive.
We are still in the process in the early stages of this investigation, and we're looking for the public's help or anybody who was at the party or at the event that witnessed this.
Here in Chicago, police are investigating a drive-by shooting that left at least 14 people injured. Several of those wounded are children. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown says 2 shooters appeared to fire randomly into the crowd on the city's west side. The attack lasted just 3 seconds.
There was a vigil that we understand that was the balloon release was happening, but there may have also been others gathered for other various reasons. It's a very common corner to be where people congregate and have, different meetings and gatherings.
And earlier Monday, multiple people were killed in shootings across Philadelphia and Brooklyn. An annual FBI crime report shows murders increased by 4.3% from 2020 to 2021. With just 1 week to go until the midterm elections, the spike in crime remains a key issue for voters.
We have to stop this madness and start really enforcing the laws.
Chicago police say they're waiting until the victims are treated at the hospital to interview them. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Your forecast is coming up after the break. Plus,
officials in South Korea are taking responsibility for the deadly crowd surge that left more than 150 people dead. In London, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on this story coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, the sunshine started to make some appearance as we stepped into our first day of November. Now, looking at what we'll continue to experience is that after seeing temperatures still climb above average, but still seeing some restrictions with that cloud cover, we see through the overnight we have clearing and calming conditions. But we do note that with clear and calm skies and a little bit of that moist but cool air, fog development is going to be possible. So note that with that reduced visibility, as well as noting that this time of the year, we have some of those later sunrises. So reaction time during the fog can be very important, and this is why we asked to slow down in these foggy conditions, that even with a fourth of a mile visibility, that takes upwards of 15 seconds to react while you're going 60 miles per hour. That is still a great distance to travel, especially when it comes to animals crossing the road, kids waiting out for the bus stop. So do keep yourself wary in these type of conditions, especially again with later sunrises, which that will change as we do see daylight saving time end this weekend. So we'll have to update some of those hours. But what we will see here as we head through the next few days, through these first few days of November, is more of that fall sunshine is around. However, it's going to be paired with more summer-like temperatures, more end of summer, early fall-like temperatures, but still well above average conditions, and it's all pairing up with the tranquil weather. So pretty quiet conditions overall, more of that sunshine, and it could last into the early weekend before we will be anticipating a frontal system to bring in some showers on Sunday and then bring some slight cooling as we step into that second week of November. So trending into our Wednesday forecast with some of that morning fog around, we see that is starting to break apart by the mid-morning, and then we'll see that as we get under that sunshine, we do see that amplification of those temperatures climbing into the 60s. So as we climb to about 65 degrees for our Wednesday, we are more than 10 degrees above average. We even still have a northwesterly wind in place, but it's pretty light overall. A little bit of passing cloud cover, but for the most part, more of noting that passing cloud cover of the lifting fog that's occurring in the morning hours. So widespread across the area through the Finger Lakes, everybody tops off at least into those 60s, potentially mid-60s possible there. Elmira, Corning, up to Bath, and we see that into our Thursday forecast. More of the same, continuing to climb. Now, when we hit those upper 60s, we're now getting more than 15 degrees above average. It's not looking likely to see widespread records, but there is the potential to maybe see an isolated high temperature record, especially into the weekend. But note that by the weekend, there are some of those changes. Now, we still have that southerly wind, but it does get strong by Sunday, and that's going to be with that frontal system that approaches and brings some of those showery conditions. But with lower 70s on the board, again, some records possibly to be broken, especially across the state of New York. But then once that frontal system passes, note that those temperatures are falling, as we'll see that Election Day next week could see high temperatures only within the 40s.
Well, the Twitter checkmark price tag debate continues. A possible publishing world takeover gets shot down, and Taylor Swift dominates the Billboard Hot 100. CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Elon Musk haggling with Twitter users over how much the company should charge them to keep their blue checkmark. The billionaire floating a price of $8 a month after the users complained about reports Twitter could charge users $20. Musk responding to a complaint from author Stephen King, writing, quote, "We need to pay the bill somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? And Musk also reportedly has his engineers working on a Vine reboot. In a poll tweeted out by Musk, 70% of users were in favor of bringing back the video looping app. It was shuttered back in 2016. A federal judge has blocked Penguin Random House from merging with rival publisher Simon & Schuster. The judge agreed with the Justice Department that the merger would hurt competition. Uber reporting more than $8 billion in revenue in the third quarter of this fiscal year. That's a 72% year-over-year increase. The rideshare giant says its user base increased by 14% in the quarter. But despite these surges, Uber reported a net loss partially because of its investments in other ride-sharing companies. And Taylor Swift's new album making music history this week. Every single song in the Billboard Hot 100's newest top 10 is off her new album, Midnights. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
South Korean officials admitted responsibility and apologized Tuesday for failures in responding to the Halloween crowd surge that killed more than 150 people. Alex Hogan has more from London.
Mourners in South Korea are paying their respects at a makeshift memorial 3 days after a deadly crowd surge killed more than 150 people, leaving the country in shock. Victims and their families now allowed to collect the belongings left behind at the scene. And on Tuesday, officials began taking responsibility for the disaster, starting with the head of the National Police, who said his forces failed to respond to more than 100 calls warning of the danger posed by the crowd.
I feel an infinite responsibility for public safety through this accident, and we will do our best to prevent such a tragic event from happening again.
An internal police investigation is now underway, and other officials, including the Interior Minister and the Mayor of Seoul, also offered apologies on Tuesday. But survivors say that doesn't go far enough, and they'll be pushing for more accountability in the coming days.
If the right measures are in place, things like this don't happen. I'm constantly thinking about all the dead bodies I saw, and I know that their families would want something done about this.
Officials also say the country needs more research and expertise on crowd management, including drones and other tech solutions. The U.S. is offering to help with that process, hoping to ensure another tragedy just like this one doesn't happen again.
As allies, partners, and friends, the United States stands with the Republic of Korea during this incredibly difficult time.
South Korea's president has declared a one-week period of mourning, which is set to end on Sunday. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
This year's fall colors have been a little lackluster in some areas. Coming up, we'll tell you one of the main reasons. Artificial intelligence helped detect a water leak inside a building in Tempe, Arizona. Steve Nielsen has more on the new AI tool and why it's being used to help revolutionize commercial building energy and water usage.
It was the middle of the night when the water leak started. No one would notice it for hours inside the Salt River Project Credit Union building in Tempe.
You can see how obvious and how dangerous, and this is just a matter of a few hours that this water leak was going on.
Kevin Hansen shows us how their new artificial intelligence system caught the leak immediately and got it fixed earlier this month before anything was damaged. He and Dwayne Pearson are using the AI tool called Nantum to revolutionize commercial building energy and water usage.
So when you connect that to the system, you're now collecting over 100,000 data points almost immediately.
The data includes cameras at every entrance and exit.
It's not just knowing how many people are in the building, but it's when they arrive and when they leave. And we were able to trim those times at the beginning and ends of the day with our HVAC systems.
The duo says the AI also found staggering the start time of the HVAC systems by just 30 seconds, eliminated peaks.
That brief, short peak can cost you extra over the course of the month. And ultimately it adds stress to the grid.
Lowering grid demand is crucial, considering this summer we saw record high demands on the system. During the pilot, SRP says they've decreased energy use by an average of 32%, and adding monitors to their water system only added more data to catch leaks earlier and save water.
Water's a precious entity in the valley, so when you can see those kinds of benefits, it's even more valuable.
Across much of the Northeast, the fall colors, they are simply gorgeous. But as you look towards the Southeast, that changes. And it turns out this year's persistent drought has a lot to do with that. Nicole Valdez is in Nashville, Tennessee, where fall colors are supposed to be at their peak.
On this quiet November morning in Music City, it's cool, calm, and usually colorful. But instead of the red, orange, and yellow leaves that usually blanket Tennessee's rolling hills,
they're moving from green to brown and just falling off the trees.
That's Kyle Kottner, author of The Foliage Report.
I've heard a lot of people who have either come to visit here or who live here that are looking around and expecting to see these beautiful, vibrant fall colors, and they're just feeling a little bit underwhelmed. What is your data showing you?
In Tennessee, this past summer's drought has really impacted the fall color. A great recipe for vibrant fall colors includes moisture and temperature, coupled with the angle of the sun. So if these trees are not getting the proper moisture that they need, those colors are not going to be vibrant.
According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, more than 4 million Tennesseans are seeing abnormally dry conditions. A majority of the state is still in a moderate to severe drought.
What you're seeing now is what we would classify as high color going into peak.
But this view from the Fox flight team shows some trees have already shed their leaves for the season. And with winter right around the corner, Cotner says it won't get much better.
You can always really hope for a great spring, a summer that's filled with the right amount of moisture, and that right there will kick in a wonderful season for the year of 2023.
In Nashville, I'm Nicole Valdez, Fox Weather.
We'll be right back with more right after this. And as always, we want to leave you with a smile. Well, listen, Halloween is over, but chances are you still got some candy left over. So here are some ways you can use it. You can freeze it or add your candy to ice cream shakes or baked treats. Serving them on Thanksgiving is another way to make sure the sweets don't go to waste. You can always get hands-on and do crafts with the candy, or you can simply share it with friends, families, or neighbors. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks so much for watching.